system, AI and energy. Without a doubt, as we know, pressing topic. And so this is why for entrepreneurs, I look forward to you being here and hearing this conversation. We have a balanced panel of academia, accelerator, investment, building foundation, and implementing. I want to invite up Noah Asher, CEO, NTT Innovation Laboratory, Israel. Thank you for Noah, and if everyone wants to start making their way up for this panel, we have the energy and data centers landscape map that we did together, and thank you. And that map is on our website and can be found on our homepage. Bar Ben Orin, VP of Product Founding Team, Karar. Lior Handelsman, Managing Partner, Grow Ventures. And it's great to have you on stage again, and also great to have you on stage again, as every year we'd like to see you. Amir Horowitz, CEO, ESIL, and it will be moderated by Dr. Michal Volkin, Head of MBA in Climate Tech Management, Reichman University.
Great. So first of all, great to be here today. Thanks for the organizer for putting such a great week. I think that AI is the biggest topic of this week. I mean, we're seeing a few IPOs getting started. SpaceX is one, using a lot of AI for rocketry, Anthropics, over $1 trillion valuation, and OpenAI as well. But I wanted to start with a short story from the MBA class. We took our MBA students to NVIDIA, and we heard some of their executives speaking, and one of the MBA students was very direct, and he asked up front the executive, so how can I get in and work at NVIDIA? And the executive, instead of starting to pull into LinkedIn and roles and resumes and specification, he showed up the AI application pyramid of NVIDIA, and he said, at the bottom, what is it? It's energy. So you should come with very unique background with understanding where the market is heading. And if you don't know about energy, and if you don't deal with the energy, there is no reason to move forward. And energy was on the bottom, and hardware, software stack, etc. were on the above it. So really AI and energy are interconnected, developing and pushing the energy growth and the economic growth of our world. And we're seeing requests for higher generation, but yet very reliable, very stable grid for the AI and data centers. And I think the key question today is how would AI and energy interconnect in the near future, and what does it mean for innovation, and where are the fundamentals changing? So I'm really happy to have all of you here. We have multinational companies in the data center, investors, and a startup representing the big picture. So let's start with a short introduction. Please say a few words about your role and the company.
So hi. I'm Noah Asher. I'm the CEO of NTT Israel. It's an innovation laboratory representing the NTT Group in the Israeli innovation ecosystem. NTT is maybe a top secret in the Israeli high-tech ecosystem. It's actually one of the Fortune 500 companies operating in about 100 markets with 340,000 employees. It's one of the largest IT global service providers. Number 3 in the world in data centers, first in Japan. It's Japan headquartered, started as a telecom company. So that's a little bit about NTT. And we are at NTT Israel are promoting the Israeli ecosystem around the NTT Group in various sectors, everything that is relevant actually to NTT's work. We do innovation integration, we do investments in Israeli startups. We have a small team that does development integration for Israeli companies. And additional platforms, and I invite all of you to approach us to see if we can work together. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Amir Horowitz. I lead ESIL. ESIL is a venture platform formed by 3 corporations: EDF Renewables, the French electricity company, Israeli-based Bazan Group, and Johnson Matthey, a UK-based chemicals company. We invest in early-stage energy and climate-related technologies. We invested in about 20 startups so far, and we're definitely seeing the impact of AI.
Hi, good morning. My name is Lior Handelsman. I'm a managing partner at an Israeli early-stage deep technology fund called Grow Ventures. We do AI infrastructure, and physical AI. That's where we have been investing for years, also in several energy startups. I've been in the energy group or in the energy world for the last more than 20 years as a founder and executive at SolarEdge. And I'm very excited to be here.
Hi, good morning. I'm Bar. I'm Karar's VP Product. Karar is a battery system company, and what we do different is that we have full thermal control of the batteries, not only electrical control. And the company was established in 2019, and the technology fully validated by the automotive industry. And as Michal mentioned, now that limitation of AI became physical and there is a hype on battery energy storage, we are now penetrating this market, and hopefully you'll hear good stuff soon.
Okay. I don't know. Can you hear me? All right. So, okay. So let's start with Noah. Noah, as a leader, you mapped the Israel energy ecosystem, and we've seen that the map has been growing since it was first published in September, October, which is it's great news for the Israeli ecosystem. So as a leader, an entity in the data center, and also as a hub of innovation, what do you see in terms of the trends, and where is computing going?
Sorry about it. So as I said, NTT is one of the largest data centers facilitators globally. The NTT Global Data Center Company, it's one of the 1,000 companies that are being held by NTT, has more than 150 data centers around 20 countries globally. They're now supplying 2 gigawatts, but the target is to supply 3 gigawatts by 2030. There are additional initiatives in the NTT group that are related to energy, a very tough green IT strategy, carbon neutral by 2040, and also an initiative called ION, which is an innovative optical wireless network that is actually going to deploy APN, an all-photonic network, by a global forum headed by NTT, including NVIDIA and Sony and additional major companies. And this is actually targeted to lower energy consumption by 100x. As for the trends, as you can see here on the great map that we did together with the Ignite Spark team, those are actually the areas that the Global Data Center Company in NTT is looking at. So you can see energy storage and battery, cooling and thermal efficiency, power infrastructure, and of course smart computing. Those are all areas that NTT is looking at. And actually, liquid cooling is now being recognized as one of the pillars of the whole NTT group to become an AI native company. And we did this in order to make sure that we can kind of represent the Israeli energy tech ecosystem to the NTT group, so global data centers plus all the different teams working around NTT in sustainability. And this has been recognized by the NTT relevant people, and there's a lot of interest to this innovation. I think NTT has become a very strong player in the energy tech ecosystem, and since we are facilitating so many data centers, large data centers, and it's a great place to kind of deploy new energy tech startups and innovations.
Thank you, Noah. It's interesting to see how a player at the top of the value chain is working with the entire pyramids all the way to startups. So that's great. The next question is for Leo. So you're bringing a very unique perspective of an investor working very closely with entrepreneurs and also with the multinational companies on the other hand, and a long legacy of investments in the AI, both on the vertical side, but also on the physical side. And even once, Terramount has been mentioned, it was acquired recently. So what specific solution have you seen that attracting investors, and how is it applied to what you're seeing here?
So first of all, when you're talking today with everyone in the stack of AI infrastructure, for me at least, the amazing fact is that everyone is talking in megawatts. You talk with a memory provider, you talk with a compute provider, you talk with a networking provider, they all speak with megawatts. We're building a this and that megawatt scale rack, and we're doing this and that megawatt scale compute, because everyone understands that energy is the core of everything. And in every piece of that stack, there are quite impressive innovations now. Noah started with photonics, and you mentioned Terramount. So the transition to photonic networks, passive photonic switching, the move from the classical Ethernet and one structure is one very, very clear networking and energy trend. And then moving all the way to the side of pure energy, battery, heat to energy, energy to heat, cooling and orchestration of power is becoming a huge part. There are megawatts that are being thrown away because of bad orchestration of power, and there are megawatts that are being thrown away because you're not synchronizing activities in the data center. So in all of these stack, compute, obviously, we all see what NVIDIA is doing, companies like Majestic Labs in Israel, compute, obviously, but this entire stack of power orchestration, infrastructure management, and then all the things that we can innovate around networking, I think simply amazing advancement and huge opportunity for founders today, because Israel is a powerhouse in AI infrastructure. Because of our semiconductor background, networking background, and energy background, we're a powerhouse in that. It's a huge opportunity here in this room.
Yes, I agree. And the next question is for you, Amir. You're an investor representing multinational companies such as EDF and also Bazan. We spoke a little bit about hydrogen, but we put it on the side for now. You've seen a lot of new angles emerge. So AI solution to enable better energy and really enable the future. So which AI applications in energy are already delivering measurable operational and economic growth today?
I think we're seeing it on all three stages of the vertical. So it would be with the energy producers, those who transport and disperse the energy, and with the end users as well. I think with the producers, definitely with renewable energy producers, solar, wind, and energy storage, we're already seeing AI applications for that can increase production, can increase storage, both in terms of depth of energy use and life cycle. We're seeing predictive maintenance, AI-based predictive maintenance go in, which is bringing down downtime and again increasing availability. And anything to do, obviously, with performance prediction, which interconnects to the next stage of the value chain, which are the grid operators. There we're already seeing optimization, prediction, and smart grid solutions. And finally, I think the last piece of the puzzle is the end users, which don't get the same hype as the first two, but anything to do with efficiency, streamlining of industrial process, HVAC energy consumption, leak detection, all these things have AI is having a secondary effect, which is implementing the bottom line, which is again more energy being produced, energy being dispersed more efficiently, and at the end of the day, with the end consumers, better efficiency with energy consumption, and this all makes a much higher impact in a market type environment where decisions have to be made quickly and with a cost related to that.
Great. So a lot of deep tech going into AI, but also utilizing our software understanding and capabilities.
I think we've heard it on the past panels. We'll hear it more. It's all about the match between the two.
Very great. So going into batteries, it's actually one of my favorite topics, being an investor still in the space. So batteries are becoming a big part of AI and data centers. There is a huge need both on the long duration and storage, to enable reliable grid into the data centers, but also on the rack size. Very dynamic power requirements, and it's not easy to stabilize. So if lithium-ion batteries were once the one solution, today there is no one size fits all, and we're seeing many more solutions of both the battery, the control, and also the cooling, which is what Karar is doing. So Bar is a VP product of Karar. How have energy changes due to AI impacted the battery energy storage? And another question, how is Karar using AI to advance its proposition?
Okay, long answer, sorry. So first of all, if you're familiar with the best battery energy storage market, you know that probably 99% of it's economics, right? There are plenty of people in the room doing projects in order to make money. Data centers, it's a different story. Data centers has physical limitations. So they need different requirements in order to operate. So it's not only about the IRR, return on investment, etc. It's about operating at all time. So if, for example, business models and Excels are eating augmentation event, augmentation is the replacement or adding batteries after a period of time. In data centers, it's an event, right? They cannot afford to have even a small period of time where the data center don't have the required backup energy or the required power to support the GPU peaks. And that means that commodity systems need to install lots of more energy in order to make sure that there is enough power and enough energy stored at all time. Why it's good for us? First of all, Karar can support the peaks in a better way. We can discharge the battery faster, and that means that we save some of the installed energy that required to support the peaks. We have flatter degradation rate. That means that we are delaying the augmentation. So we can provide data centers with better batteries to support the operation of the data center itself. And footprint matters, right? So data centers makes money not from batteries. They make money out of compute. And you want to have more space for compute and less for the infra. So if we are able to minimize the footprint, amazing. And lastly, safety. Because sometimes batteries catch in fire, and if they're close to the data center itself, it can be huge issue. And if you are able to provide really safe batteries that can be installed everywhere, even very close to the data center itself, it's another very big advantage. So this is what makes AI best different than a common one. And as for your second question, how AI, I'll say, makes us better. And I'll say that AI is amazing, right? It's smarter than most of us, so it can improve charging and discharging protocol if we'll give them more control parameters. And in Karar use case, we are, as mentioned in the beginning, we are not only controlling the electrical parameters, voltage, current, state of charge, we also control temperature. And once the AI get this additional control parameter, is able to optimize protocols and get more energy out of exactly the same cells. And it does so by the battery management system, the BMS, and this is where Karar is heading. So we help to improve AI, but AI is improving us as well.
Great. So as long as AI doesn't replace us, all is good. Yeah, definitely batteries and cooling is one of the growing area. But we talked before about physical AI. We heard a little bit from Ion, and the next question is for Lior. So in the aspect of the physical world for operations, you know, we were dominated by humans. I visited one of the largest multinational companies this week, and one of the, you know, head of the software group said, I once had a group, now I have agents replacing my group, which is, you know, good and bad, good for AI and for energy, future of energy, if we know how to deal with it. But robots and physical AI, what do you need to see in the future to respond to all that, you know, request of physical AI and the demand?
So definitely physical AI is the next big disruption. I'm not sure we're over the current big disruption, but it's definitely the next one. The ability to add reasoning and to the edge is simply amazing, because it allows us to replace maintenance operations. It allows us to change the way we do manufacturing, and it will also change part of the energy crisis. We see more and more applications where the AI process, the LLM or some form of LLM, SLM maybe, is moved to the edge. That reduces load from the data center. It changes the way where energy is consumed, and it will also change the work market. It will affect all of us. What we see today is a lot of innovation around local energy storage for robots and local energy storage for charging robots. Factories will need much more energy now, not just for the manufacturing itself, but also for the workforce. Might not need a dining room, but we'll need more batteries. But also in the way that we do low power compute, low power reasoning is changing. The forecast that we see today from the large humanoid companies, and I'm not sure that humanoid is needed for everything, but from the large robotic companies, simply mind-boggling numbers. 600 million, 700 million, billion robots that companies like Tesla and Figure are forecasting in the next 5 to 6 years. And the secondary effect of that is someone needs to manufacture all of these robots, so it's a compounding issue. And it all starts with the ability to bring reasoning to the edge and to have enough energy for reasoning at the edge. So that's the next big wave of innovation, another huge opportunity.
Yeah, so definitely also batteries are required there, and also edge compute. So the next question is for Amir. You work closely with corporate partners, as I mentioned before, EDF and Bazan, very large energy players. I'm tempted to ask about hydrogen now that energy is in such a big demand. Is hydrogen still the future? Because hydrogen requires energy. Maybe just 1 or 2 sentences on that.
I'll just say on that I wasn't a fanboy and I didn't buy into the hype when everybody thought hydrogen was the silver bullet to solve all, and I'm not ready to go to the funeral now, hydrogen's funeral right now, when it's obviously not a one-stop shop for anything. I think looking into the future, it may be a good solution for specific use cases, maybe where in industries where electrification is impossible or more difficult, maybe direct use of hydrogen and not conversion into electricity, maybe for longer term storage. So there's a variety of potential use cases, but I would say the jury is still out, despite the fact that it's been out for many, many years. Maybe that's the only positive effect of positive side of having such a long development cycle, that the market changes many times over during the development cycle of the technology or the potential technologies and use cases. So eventually we do see
It will happen.
Yes.
Sometimes
and again,
in the
not
future.
not as a one-shot solution for everything.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you also, how do you see the traditional energy corporations implement AI solutions?
It's a bit of a paradox in the answer, because on the one hand, they're facing, everybody's talked about the rising energy demands, and they're facing a market that is becoming more and more complex. The infrastructure is aging, is outdated and insufficient, and the workforce in general is not always as tech savvy or ready to implement cutting edge solutions. I think first of all, my advice for any startup who wants to work with this type of company is to remember that do no harm is probably comes before whatever kind of value you claim you can put on your solution. So you have to remember these are mission critical industries, and the fact that you will not disrupt is just as important as the value that you can give these companies.
Interesting. So maybe a little bit too early.
No, you just have to remember hand in hand. Again, a lot of times startups talk about what is your pain. I'll be the solution for your
Right.
pain. And here it's a question of two things. One is what is the value proposition, but also again that you have to remember the mindset of a lot of these companies. They want the digitalization. They want the new these new enhancements. They're not looking to replace the workforce. They're looking to empower decision making and empower quick responses. Just take that in
Be
mind.
careful. Okay. Noah, the last question before the last one. You know, your innovation arm and working with the startups to advance NTT operation and offering. How you know the solutions are being piloted to support NTT? Maybe you can give us a few examples.
Okay.
So startups in here can learn how to work with NTT and other multinationals.
So actually our innovation arm here in Israel is the gateway for the NTT Group to the Israeli ecosystem, as I said. And we are working mainly through challenges that the NTT Group has and its customers has. 80% actually of the Fortune 500 companies are NTT Group customers. And we start from a challenge, then shortlist, evaluation of the company and a demo, and then moving on to pilot. We are really interested in knowing the Israeli ecosystem in the energy area more, and Jonathan here from my group is ready to meet with you, and please approach him for more information. Generally speaking, up until now, NTT Israel did 125 POCs, only one in the energy tech area. This is really slow, although the Global Data Center company has just established an innovation arm, and we are ready to integrate more companies. For us, the POC was in the renewable energy generator, actually used for not for a data center, but for a telecom tower. What we could learn from it, that it was such a long process with the, it was a domestic Japanese POC. It took about 3 years for the pilot to start. There were lots of challenges. The place that they wanted to put the generator was actually an ancient graveyard, and they were not able to receive the approvals to do it. It took such a long time that the company, the Israeli company, decided not to operate in the Japanese market because of that. So this is a big challenge that we have, you know, working with large multinational corporations, specifically Japanese corporations that have very long decision-making process. But now, going back to the innovation that the Global Data Center company is looking at, they did deploy successfully startups, one in the kind of AI monitoring system for cooling efficiency. They proved that it reduces consumption by 19%. Another startup that they used was actually for taking the heat that was generating by the data centers in Berlin and using it for heating of the municipality. So that's another successful project that was done. But when we introduced the Israeli companies to the global data centers team, they were mainly looking to see that they could save money from those technologies. They were looking at OPEX saving. They were looking at lowering the PUE. They were looking at stability of the companies. And also, if I can, I think Amir said that before, they were looking for a trust. So don't overpromise and underdeliver. This is a big problem that we see with the Israeli companies. But definitely there is a place for innovation in entity.
Thank you very much. So good tips for entrepreneurs. So a last question. We have 5 minutes for all of you. Where do you see Israel in the next 5 years in relation to energy and AI? And are we going in the right direction on anything you can think about? You know, the grid, you know, the startups, the multinational companies, the technologies. Are we going to, you know, be where we're supposed to be, and how?
Listening to my fellow panel speakers, I think so. I think we all get up in the morning, right, and we think energy and we act on it. And Israel is a real incubator of new technologies, and it seems that things are going, right? Things are progressing with or without regulations, government, whatever. There is very nice initiatives knowing from the inside, and later today you'll hear some very great startups pitching. So I'm very optimistic about our future.
Yeah, and now for you, you know, there are many VCs that are looking at Israel in the cyber and, you know, in the AI. Are they going to see that what they've seen on cyber in energy? Because we do have the capabilities.
So I think that what we see today with SaaS and AI and the ability to accelerate code development is going to affect dramatically the startup ecosystem globally and in Israel. Yeah. There's lots of questions on how can we even maintain our superiority in cyber and definitely in SaaS. But on the other hand, Israel still has in the startup ecosystem, as I said, we are a powerhouse in AI infrastructure. So I'm very, very optimistic. I'm going to say that on the geopolitical level, Israel has a lot of challenges, obviously, we all know, but there's also a huge opportunity currently. The fact that the backbone of the web, what is called the Blue Raman fiber, is going to go from India through the Persian Gulf, through Israel into Europe. The fact that hopefully if things go the right way, there will be some energy availability here in this region, the entire region. I'm not just talking about Israel. And the fact that we have so much innovation and knowledge around AI infrastructure here in Israel is a huge opportunity to turn Israel into an AI infrastructure #1 leading technological powerhouse. We can sit on the web, we can build relevant web-connected AI factories here in Israel, and I think that there's a huge profit and opportunity to capitalize geopolitically from where we sit today if things go the right direction in technology-wise and also politically-wise.
I'll also be optimistic. I think Israel won't have the most or the largest data centers. Israel will be able to punch above its weight through the technology, through discovering where the exact points where quick innovation and development can deliver the most impact. I'm looking today at cooling solutions and excess heat utilization, and all and critical mineral discovery and utilization through AI, all these things that are on the periphery, which are growing through the power of the AI revolution. And I think there are so many startups now, and there will only be more and more, so I predict a bright future.
Just to add, hoping to see more unicorn companies in that field, in the energy tech field. And from my point of view, I'm hoping to see more multinational corporations in that field that are active here in Israel. I do think that the multinational corporations that are operating in the Israeli ecosystem are your gateway to the world. This is how I see NTT. And I hope the Israeli government can help us operate here in Israel.
Yeah, great, thank you. And I'm very excited to hear about your optimistic approach. I get a lot of requests from people that they come from different areas and they want to move into the energy space. And I'm sure there are some of you in the crowd. So feel free to connect to any of those panelists. And also on my side, I'm ahead of a new MBA program which is focusing on energy and climate tech. It's at Reichman University, and we are really educating the next generation of managers and leaders in the space. So it's not an easy space to get into, but it's definitely possible, and there's a very bright future here. So thank you very much, and we'll be happy to answer questions later.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Amir, Lior.